Good morning, folks. We're going to talk about endemic versus ecodemic, where we are now, and it's important to talk about vaccine passports, 2-shot requirements, where the government is right now, what reality has been what for the longest time, folks. And to begin with, we clearly are and were absolutely endemic. December 26th, again, 2021. Government's been extremely slow. Lots of governments all over the world, particularly the Democrats out of the States, on travel. Not as bad as Canada. There's a lot less restrictions in travel in the States or leaving the States than there are from Canada coming or going. But they keep up vaccine passports, which is interesting, folks. They're still pushing the 2-shot requirements when we're clearly endemic. What does that mean? It means COVID doesn't pack a punch anymore. It means generally in the population, 99% of you are going to be fine with no major things happening to you from COVID-19. I just went through it myself, a triple shotter, and I went through it, had COVID, it was gone within 5 days. I recovered just fine. But a lot of folks unvaccinated are now too, hence why we hit endemic December 26th, 2021. UK miles ahead of us, as much of Europe was. They got hit by COVID-19 much earlier. They had the first waves much earlier than we did in North America for obvious reasons. It was born out of Asia and Europe. So, 2 years of a pandemic where we watched an ecodemic, absolute destruction of the economy, massive transfer of wealth, unprecedented in over 30 years of globalism, completed in 2 years' time, blew it right out of the water. Governments embraced it. That's what I call ecodemic. We went from pandemic to endemic, and we're still in ecodemic, which has largely overshadowed the pandemic. They may have hit a percentage of the population who is new to that disease, and yes, they're gone. I have friends who are gone, never to come back. A lot of older folks, yes, gone, never to come back. But the reality is, through all those waves, those instances of society are gone now. Those peoples, our loved ones in society, are gone now. Those that succumb to the disease, it's now largely the rest of the population that, vaxxed or unvaxxed, is showing strong resilience. They had to issue endemic. Clearly in Canada, here we are in summer, Ontario is scrapping all daily COVID reporting. Yet we still have serious travel restrictions. Yet still the USA recording serious travel restrictions. When the densely populated GTA has record low numbers of COVID-19, much lower than any time in the pandemic, extremely low. It's time to call it a day, folks. It was supposed to be called more than 6 months ago. Government doesn't want to do it. They want to continue their controls. They want to continue the new Green New Deal, ecodemic, and they also want to continue destroying the lives of small business owners, people who work abroad, or people who try to operate in other countries, and be it just other country, Canada, one treaty. And it's unbelievable. They just keep going, and people keep talking about it. For anybody wondering, there's never going to be more than 2 shots. I'm triple vaccinated, complete waste as of now. There won't be any push for booster shots. They'll sell them. People, I guess, will do them like the flu. But that's really where we're at with COVID-19. Just another flu-like virus. Is it a different? It's not influenza. It's not part of the influenza family. It's COVID. It's part of a different family of viruses, much like the flu now. That's what it is. Rendered the same as the flu. That's it. Not going to have a major impact on society. We have lunatics, billionaires like Bill Gates saying, oh, you're all lucky, but what you have to do is invest $1 billion in Bill Gates for the future, the next major pandemic. Well, folks, the last major world pandemic was 1918. I am not going to give Bill Gates $1 billion a year for 102 years because another virus might rear its ugly head. Think about that, folks. The last major pandemic 102 years ago. We are absolutely way overpopulated. Way overpopulated. When you have a density like that worldwide, these things happen, especially in large cities. Contrary to Pierre Poilievre's propaganda, he tells, I watched a video on him on immigration, which he totally supports. When he gets prime minister in 2025, he's ramping up immigration to 565,000 people a year, over 500,000 to Canada. And he tells all of them, I watch him going through immigrant after immigrant in his latest immigration campaign video. He says, vast Canada, so much land no one's ever seen, except for 87% of Canada. Again, folks, for all the dullards out there and the poor suckered refugees and immigrants, 87% of Canada you can't live on. It's owned by guys like Pierre Poilievre, crown sworn Privy Council members who have secret bills. He passed 4 that we don't even know what they are, but you can guess. You can guess because he signed on with WEF in 2013. You want to see what likely bills he passed under Stephen Harper. Mass immigration, mass other ones. Now, Justin Trudeau has done 12. He holds the record of secret, undemocratic, not published to you, the people, bills. Justin Trudeau by far is the worst. He's done 12. But Pierre Poilievre under Stephen Harper did 4. One was, along with Aaron O'Toole, he was Privy Council under Harper. One is transferring mass amount of Chinese investment over Canadians. You've been transferred to China. Currently, they hold 15% of your foreign debt. You import 90% of your goods from China via Stephen Harper, Aaron O'Toole, Pierre Poilievre, and the list goes on and on. Candice Bergen. They all did this in secret, behind your back. They run down China, but they created the situation. They passed that legislation in secret. It's there for you. They call it Crown Customary Law. It's privy of the Privy Council appointed by Prime Minister. Nobody's to know about it. Top secret, but we know because it was passed. Even though we can't read it, we do know, as the media reports, quietly, after 2 years, Stephen Harper promised no, and 78% of Canadians said, Conservatives, over 80% went, don't do it. Stephen Harper did it anyway. Why? Because he filled his pockets, as did Pierre Poilievre, who is just lying to you to get Conservative leadership. He is a Liberal. They are all Liberal Conservatives. That's the original party, the Crown Party. You can look it up yourselves. Liberal, Conservative, and Liberal. Those are the only two real power bases in Canada forever and a day since 1867. It's why flip-flop, you go back. Now the conservative, liberal conservative, has changed their name to progressive conservative. You know, progressive. Nothing physically conservative about any of it. Their debt loads prove beyond any reasonable doubt, whether it's liberal or conservative, they sure love to spend money that doesn't belong to them and rape all of you. Now, is Trudeau the worst so far? Yes. But the next conservative leader, which is going to be Pierre Poilievre, and people are going to vote for him in the Groves, is going to multiply the amount of damage Justin Trudeau did by a factor of 2. If you don't believe me, folks, you can go back in Canadian history and watch that curvature of ecodemic destruction. Now, did COVID give them a 30-year advance on everything? Absolutely. Absolutely. Is there a requirement to be vaccinated about COVID-19 anymore? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's endemic. Vaccine can give older people a boost, immune-compromised a boost, introducing a weaker strain of something that can't multiply in your system. Do healthy people need that to live now? No. No. It was a waste for me. I did it for travel. Triple dosed. For all those asking about, is there going to be boosters and the government's ability to force you to do that? No. Absolutely not. 2 shots is all the government hangs on to. And honestly, folks, between Joe Biden and Justin Trudeau, I don't see, with the numbers in clearly 2 waves past, they're not there. There's no justification in any travel vaccine requirements for one COVID-19. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to tell you this. It's called Endemic. Ontario isn't even doing testing daily anymore. They're done. Pearson got a suspension of the GTA. Pearson's got a 3-week suspension of its COVID screening in the hospital and pulling you out to randomly test you, blocking everybody in the airport. They've suspended it for 3 weeks. But honestly, folks, I don't see how they're going to justify reintroducing that. Not with the numbers in Canada the way they are. Hospitalizations at a way down in the most densely populated area of Canada, the GTA. I mean, Vancouver, there's a couple key areas of Vancouver and Northern Van that rival, but Toronto still wins the day. Because again, why, folks? 87% of the country is not available to you. You can't live there. You can't earn a living. It's a scam. Like China, whom the conservatives signed, sealed, and certified with a long time ago during Stephen Harper's reign of terror. They not only signed the Commonwealth Charter, they signed over Canada to China. Full access. Look at everything you near own. Made in China. Oh, look at that. Even a lighter. Let's see, what does that say? Oh, made in China. What else we got? Almost any item you get. How does that happen? That happens from the government. Trudeau didn't change it, so if you think liberals, for all those lefties who think that Trudeau's against communism, he admires the pure dictatorship. He's embraced it. He hasn't changed anything implemented by Stephen Harper and his Privy Council, which at the time included, when they signed this over, Pierre Poilievre, Candice Bergen, Aaron O'Toole, Andrew Scheer. It's a scam. Just like pandemic to endemic into ecodemic, economic destruction, 50% transfer of wealth in 2 years from you, the average Joe Jane. Second-class businesses, meaning largely all small businesses, transferred to an elite from a foreign land, globalists. 50% increase in billionaire wealth at absolutely the middle class and lower class Canadian citizens. Same all over the world. Almost every government exploited it. May not be a pandemic, you can't prove it, but it sure was an ecodemic, economic destruction. Eco even for environmental, as they added that agenda on top, and now they cling to it praying, please let the idiots vote it in, save the environment. Wages in Canada, Trudeau bragging, CBC trying to trick you, telling you inflation's a runaway. Wages went up 4%, but inflation 7%, near 7.1%. Folks, it rose almost double what wages did in 1 year. 1 year. And it's going faster and faster, the rate of inflation. It's not wages driving it. It's your lunatic governments, all of them. Radical spending more than they can generate, even with obscene taxes. Socialism, under the guise of the constitutional monarchy, doesn't work. It never has. It never has, folks. Anyone telling you that is just another hypocritical liar. They're stuffed from their pockets like all the wealthy from Venezuela, and then they run away. You know what happened to most Venezuelans? They ended up in Colombia next door. Ran for their lives, became mass refugees. Now Trudeau and Joe Biden yesterday meet in Endemic, and they're bringing in boatloads of Venezuelans to become the new agricultural labor force to drive wages down in what? Primary sector, the largest source of revenue. Folks, we didn't hit a gold bloom in jobs. We got shit jobs. No professional jobs. People bragging about employment's back. I guess if you want to go from a professional in the private primary sector that generates all the revenue into the service sector, losing largely all your pensions, largely all your massive benefits. Oh, we got benefits and we got reduced wages. You can work full time. I don't know. I don't want to be a waitress. I don't want to be a tree planter. It's not what I went to school for. And they said no one left behind. Oh yeah, the entire primary sector left behind. Manufacturing has never been as in the dumps as it is today in North America by an extremely large margin, folks. Anyone telling you otherwise is a bold-faced liar. We get into economics. When I started preaching on Facebook 5 years ago, I was in what was called a minority group, NGO of economists, meaning non-governmental organizations. However, in 2019 I ran. But in that year, folks, 13% of all economists were a minority group who talk like me, talk about real GDP, talk about primary sector, talk about why it's important for you to have national boundaries, why it's important to be self-sufficient, maintain a manufacturing base, maintain an agricultural base, always have competition, real true competition, not wealthy oligarch competition, because that's just glorified socialism through the absolute runaway capitalism, no different than extreme socialism. Extreme right, extreme left, doesn't matter, because you're getting into the higher end autocracy. Big, extremely large businesses wiping out all the little guys. Big sharks in a tank, all little fish. They're going to get eaten up like nothing. The whale and the shrimp, right? You don't want a monopoly board, whether it's through government socialism or runaway private billionaires who largely lobby to take over the government to destroy you, making them rich, you poor. That's what's been done. Now, the point, 5 years ago, we were a minority group of 13%. Do you know where we're at today? Today, 29%. We've gone from 13 to 29. And governments are scared. Governments like Trudeau, Pierre-Paul Levere, Jagmeet Singh, they're scared because they've been embracers of the crown. Crown lovers forever and a day, wanting their chance to rule over all of you. The low-life, degenerate, filthy scum, third class, or savage Indian, according to the Indian Act. 2 classes of either slave or savage to be liquidated. That's all governments, every single one. Undemocratic, huge secrets, nothing like the USA. As bad as you see Joe Biden going for it, wanting to be an autocratic dictator, in love with the monarch. Unbelievable that a president can get into power on that narrative in America in today's day and age, with all the vast knowledge of civics, the power of the internet. But look how they're taking away social media. Look how they're destroying everybody. They're getting away with it. They're doing it each and every day. It gets worse and worse. And like I said, through this pandemic that became endemic, but is absolutely ecodemic, they're destroying economics. They're doing it through eco-war, which is wrong. And while we were 13%, we're 29 today. Bloomberg largely 100% reporting in with that minority group. First mainstream media to really get on board. We're seeing a little bit with CNBC. We're seeing a slight tip here in Canada, but not much, folks. Not much at all. Canada is an institutionalized, very much largely lost cause. You can only reach a few. Most people have been institutionalized, ingrained. CBC runs news programs all night long, over and over and over, regurgitated bullshit. Destroying labor is not going to change inflation. Not with the massive taxation. You've got government in charge of gambling. You've got government in charge of alcohol and drugs of every kind. Who's the mafia now? Folks, if you haven't figured out, the government operates like the 1930s mafias of old. They are absolutely legislated, in full control of it, especially here in Canada. Runaway crazy. And people don't want to wake up. They've transferred tremendous power to that elite governments. And they continue forward, and Canadians just go, keep going. I'll worry about it when I'm in a breadline or I'm a refugee like Venezuela. And it's true. And people don't want to see it. They're just that blind. That's my video. I don't think I'm going to do any videos for quite a bit, guys. We have a lot of work to do here. It's been a rough month. Trudeau's hit us incredibly hard. Our First Peoples team is struggling. They can't believe how fast all the chiefs can turn on them. Even First Peoples, you guys. And I know how disheartening it is. I got strong shoulders. I'm used to being a loser. 99 out of 100 tries. All the things I do. I put 3 years of my life into this, literally full time. A tremendous expenditure. It's not over yet. I never give up. It's not over till the fat lady sings. But I know a lot of people are weekend. I gave the whole team the weekend off to relax. We have a new member of the team, a tremendous individual. And, you know, whatever happens, folks, I am going to publish post June 28th. And we're going to go through it. We're going to go through it, absolutely. But, folks, know this, and I don't care. People don't want to believe things, or they don't want to. We had Prime Minister Justin Trudeau fly out and get into our First Peoples. The chief specifically we contacted, Trudeau personally did that. If I didn't ring a bell, if I didn't drop a hammer, a heavy blow, I don't know what to tell you. Prime ministers don't come out for little old guys like me to character assassinate and to assassinate our whole team, unless of course they knew it's credible, real, and a dangerous road for the government to be on. And it may very well be successful. The government may very well have defeated us. It does look like that in this first round, which is the only round. If not one chief in Canada reports June 28th, 2022, that's going to be the end of the world stage, which means there's only a political means and one other means, which is why I'm going to the States. I don't disclose a lot of that, but there is another major way. There's lots of ways to skin a cat. I only get more and more serious, and we're going to see how all that goes. But yeah, we have 13 days left. We're going to see when the weekend's over. We're going to see what that yields here. We're down to the wire. Never say never, but we've been dealt a devastating blow by the establishment, by personally Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada. That's real. That's real, folks. And we'll see what we make public for everybody to see. The works we've done, it's unbelievable. But regardless, success or not, the world is going to see this. This is already logged with some pretty powerful countries, heads of states, and they don't ever forget nothing. They keep it all. So is it a loss? I don't know. It's a loss for Canadians and First Peoples, absolutely, if it doesn't come together, if we don't get one report. It's going to be tremendously sad for the more than 100 other sites of residential school genocide that are not ever going to be explored, just like water, and I'm going to go into more of that post June 28th to explain just how devastating this is to lose, and the loss of humanity and the faith in your fellow Canadian and even First Peoples, that your average Joe Jane Canadian or First Peoples or any race, culture, creed, religion of people will go for money, will go for the corruption or just the power alone 9 times out of 10. And I just had somebody message me. It's unbelievable. This is World Authority. Just as you speak, that's pretty cool. Just got an email hit here. Okay, guys, I gotta go. Bye now.